whew, my house is a little hot. You know what I mean? I don't know where I thought I was going with the motherfucking sweater, but hey, y'all, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Come on in, come on in. I don't know why Instagram only gives us an hour to do these things. Let's do it.
Back.
Yeah, this is literally, y'all. This is the first time I've done two parts to this. But this is so good. I don't want to miss anything, any I, any T. I don't want to miss it all.
Yes.
So yeah. So now you've done this like this. Note to forgiving, not just yourself but others. You know what I mean? And then you keep moving, you keep doing your thing, you keep pushing, and that's what it means. You know what I mean? You can't sit in it, right? You do your thing, you release that, and then you keep going. So then you start this You Want Me events. What was the story behind that? Like, what made you want to start doing these panels?
So actually, I want to say the dynamics I had with certain people, I just felt like, yo, I can't be the only one going through this.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was, because a lot of the people that I had to forgive were all, obviously close to me.
Right.
So like my mom, my dad, certain friends, certain relationships, certain business partners, like it was just a lot of things across the board. And I know that one of the biggest things for me was one, there's a lack of understanding from my culture or whatever, like being a Haitian American.
Right.
There's a lack of understanding about what I do, and then at the same time too, as a Black woman, there's not a lot of opportunities that I saw, whether it's because we get in our own way. And when I say that, I mean like Black women or certain women, they feel like you don't know what I went through to get here, so I'm gonna hold my spot.
Right.
I don't want nobody to replace me. Or it's like it's just literally lack thereof, spaces and opportunities and whatever. So I was just like, you know what? How can I be of service to my community in that sense? Because I know a lot of the things that I do is because of things that happened in my life or happened around me, you know what I'm saying, that I was inspired by. So this was another thing. How can I be of service? Now, You Want Me is something completely different that I haven't even dropped yet. But my homeboy was just like, yo, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I'm like, yo, I'm working on something, He's like, nah, drop it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drop it. And I'm going to bridge what I'm about to drop in like maybe, because it's something that takes time, right?
Right, of course.
I'm going to bridge what I'm going to do with what I can do right now. Now, for a few years, I wanted to do panel series because I felt like whenever I need a good, like, it's almost like going to church. You know what I'm saying? Like the podcast and the blogs, that's like, forgive me, Lord, I don't mean to compare your holiness to something so secular, but it's kind of like the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Like you have something that you can turn to, whatever, but then you have the panel series where like-minded people get together and they talk about it, they converse, they share ideas and they spread knowledge. So I was like, you know what? I want to do a panel, but I want to make sure if I do a panel that it's purposeful, it's useful, and it hits all the right notes. And I know that I'm in music. I've been doing music since I was a kid. A lot of people don't know how to play instruments. You know what I'm saying? I play the sax, I play the clarinet, I've dabbled in the trumpet, I've dabbled in the piano, drums, all of that. You know what I'm saying? My uncle was a musician. Then media, I do interviews, I do all of this stuff. I spread the message, which is what media is, the message. So this was just something else that I needed to do to bridge the gap between artists, information, resources, and mental health. Mental health is like the key thing I try to sneak in to everything that I do, whether it is the podcast, whether it is my blog,
because it really is the base to a lot of situations your mental health. You know what I mean? And I know
Yeah.
that's really big for us on this side of town, is making sure that we are acknowledging that a lot of these social issues that are happening in the community are happening due to a lack of, or an unawareness of mental health. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. A lack of awareness, a lack of just communication. Like, we're not talking to ourselves sometimes. There's a lot of times that we're ignoring certain signs that we see in ourselves.
right.
And we're walking around like functional alcoholics, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
little functional
Thinking this shit is
depressants,
okay, right?
thinking everything is okay. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to make an event, and I'm going to put my all into the event so that people can see how serious I am about mental health and
Mm-hmm.
about, them getting this type of information.
Right.
So that's part of the panel series. I started this year because I was just like, you know what? I'm going to stop talking about it. People have stole enough of our events. I can't keep switching. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I got to the point where it's like, no, I always have new ideas. I always have something different, but this is one of my babies, though. It's like my art exhibition. Like, it's certain things that y'all can steal and y'all can copy, but I can't let go of it because that's just how much I care about the situation. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this panel, and I'm gonna make sure that this panel has, an impact. And it was so many things. When you do events, there's so many things that go wrong. It's so many, like, if somebody had double booked the venue.
Yeah.
And canceled one event, so they thought this event was canceled. It was a lot.
I was there for that one. Yeah, I remember that.
It was a lot. It was a lot. But I'm glad the people that came out came. Mm-hmm. I was able to, finally drop my merch officially, which is something I was working on for a while. It was just a lot. I'm telling you, Courtney, there's a lot of things that I hold on to because I don't want to step on certain people's toes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, again, I have to stop putting myself in the back seat and just go for it. So I was just like, nah, I'm going to go for it. To the point where I shot my shot, and I got people on my panel that I never, on the regular, I never would have even thought. Right. And I was just like, I'm inspired by you. Shout out to Sharifa Murdoch. She was one of the people. She's the creative in Vision Fest. Mm-hmm. She's like this big fashion, like she works in fashion. She's really, really dope. She has a whole bunch of things going on her end, and she's like, so I was like, sis, like, let's move in her DM. I was like, look, I'm just a little black girl.
Little black girl with a dream.
With a dream. Literally, though, Courtney,
facts.
I was like, look, I'm trying to put together this panel. It's for the people. I want to encourage little black girls like myself to do whatever. She was like, I'm canceling everything and I'm coming. I said, oh, to my panel. Like, it's like I always underestimate myself, but I always overachieve. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I learned that about myself. And what solidified that was, like, I took statistics and I failed the first time. The second time I got like an A+. And I was always late to the class because it was 8 in the morning. I had a show last night. Right. But I'm like, why do I keep doing this to myself? So I just started shooting my shot, Courtney, all over the place.
And that's what you got to do. Like, listen, like and I always say to people, there were people before they became celebrities or before they became big names. Like, they were us with a dream trying to make it happen. Yep. You know what I mean? So there is no reason why you are afraid, because they were in your shoes with $3 in their pocket trying to make it home. You feel me? Like, that's it. That's it. You know what I mean? So then you now kind of start bringing to life what you wanted to do this whole time, which was posting for a friend. And I love the questions because I'm just like, if she don't stop and just say, this shit is about me right now, I'm going through this shit. And I need some answers. But sometimes, listen, like, we all are going through these things. You know what I mean? So when you started asking questions, I was like, damn, like, this is real. These are real topics and real conversations, because you're not the only person. You're not alone in this. And no matter how many times we're willing to sit back and let this shit ride, we always need somebody to be like, yo, it's not all right. Enough is enough. Right. And this is what we're going to do about it. You know what I mean? So I'm posting for a friend. So let's talk about bringing this to fruition.
Yeah, so You Want Me Again was, I want it to be a monthly series because I want that to be something that people look forward to, but I got to give you something while you're waiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I've been doing these statuses for a long time. I've been building up, information because a lot of this stuff I write down, I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
I really do take notes. I write it down and I put everything together. And when I was doing it at Brick, I started off a couple episodes by myself, but then again, I wanted to make sure that I incorporated the music and the mental health. So going forward, you're gonna see more personal stuff because the whole premise of it is posting for a friend, right? So I started to do the work myself.
Right.
Within myself. So it started off with me having conversations with, different family members about certain things that, they've done to me or, that I've experienced. And kind of just building from there, repairing myself from there so that I can be in a position to talk about it. That's why you see on the panel, I always make sure to have a mental health professional because I'm not a professional. I'm just somebody who's trying to figure it out with y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. It's certain things that I've been through that I'm still going through sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I haven't learned my lesson. So, but I want y'all to see it because that's real. This is not, nothing is fabricated. Nothing is some of the stuff is happening in real life in real time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, yeah, I gotta just go for it. That's another thing I gotta just go for. So the first episode, and Brick was with me, and it talked about how I'm gonna be talking to my mom, how I'm gonna be talking to certain cousins, how I'm gonna be talking to certain people, whatever. And due to COVID-19, and it kind of like sidetracked that. So I do have a couple things recorded that I'm gonna try. That I already went live on. So if you go on the Silva Productions, you'll see some stuff live. But I'm gonna break it down and bring it to you, so it's something that you could like watch over and over. But season 2, I wanted it to concentrate more about what's going on right now.
Right.
So that's why I had to break it up like that. So you'll see the conversation for this season was with me and Stephanie Carnegie, who was in the first You Want Me panel series.
Yeah, shout out to Stephanie Carnegie, yo.
Everything I do gotta make sense. So she was on my first panel, the You Want Me series. She was one of the panelists on that first one. So I brought her back, and now we're talking about like what's going on and how this quarantine is affecting us. And it's kind of conversation like this too, because I know one of the things being in quarantine, you're isolated with yourself, or you're isolated with your trauma sometimes. So even if it's being in a room by yourself, or being in a room with a parent that's abusive, or being in a room with a person that's your relationship, and now your relationship is being tested and stuff like that. Like that's all things that we talked about. And in episode 1, we talk about triggers. Yeah. And the main point of that was sometimes you could be triggered and not even
know that you're triggered.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, how that even came up, which is something I'm gonna post soon, is with the George Floyd and everything going on with police brutality and abolishing the police and Black Lives Matter. It was just like, yo, why? Because I know I've been to a lot of protests. I went to a school that was very much an activist school. You know what I'm saying? Like they showed us how to do those type of community action things, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We were outside in Williamsburg, and it was a beautiful thing. I loved it. And I was like, yo, what's not making me go outside right now? Because it's one thing to be paranoid about, the virus. It's another thing of there's literally something holding me back. And I was triggered because I realized that I had many situations with the police that I've never processed. Right. I've never dealt with. Like I've never gave it a second thought because I'm always, and this has been my theme for my whole life, I've always had to be strong. I've always had to be on. I've always had to accept things for just the way that they are. Yeah. And not like just be angry. You know what I'm saying? I go back to angry. So I told people, I was like, yo, like I feel like if I go outside, I might kill one of these things. Yes. I might really risk it all, and y'all gonna see me in jail. Like I'm going to jail. Yeah. I would always say I'm going to jail. Anytime something happens, I'm going to jail. I know I'm going to jail. it's like, why am I so comfortable saying that? And I had to realize it's because I got arrested. I got arrested too.
Right.
And it's because somebody meeting the quota, somebody overextending themselves and abusing their power or whatever. I've gotten arrested twice with some BS. And one of the times that I got arrested, I actually was missing 6 hours. People couldn't find me, and I don't know if we frozen. I'm gonna stop talking.
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
It's frozen, but I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So I ended up going missing, and people were looking for me for stuff like that, and it was very scary for them because they didn't know what happened, and we already know. Like, this was around the time, RP to Sandra Bland, RP to a lot of the Black women that get forgotten.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Breonna Taylor. Well, not shout out to them, but those are Black women who've been through similar situations as Black men or people just in general, and they get forgotten.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that made a lot of people on the outside uncomfortable with, but I never necessarily processed.
Yeah.
All I know is that I was just in there. It's almost like I conformed to my environment. I was just like, yeah, I could never be here because I feel like I would literally fit right in. Like, I don't know. I would just adapt, and I would just, become and I would really throw my whole entire life away. And I'm like, damn, that's what they want, ain't it?
Yep. That's exactly
what they want.
Yep.
That's what they want. Like, I know I shouldn't be in here, but it's like I got in there and I was like, all right, well, if somebody say something to me, nigga, it's going down.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo. And then on the other side of that, it's like I wasn't processing the fear. I wasn't processing the fact that I might never see, my family again. People don't know where I'm at or what I'm doing, who I'm with. All they know is that my car is abandoned somewhere, out of straight out of a movie. It was just so weird. It was so weird. And there was so much to deal with. But once you start thinking about certain things, once you get triggered, now little bits and pieces and clips
coming back to you.
Memories start coming back to you, and you're like, damn, I really went through this. This really happened. That really happened. Bro, I peed in front of everybody. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It was real. That really happened. It was really.
And it's horrific.
People going crazy. I'm about to kill you. I'm about to sign up. It was I was just like, wow, I really went through that, and I came out like it was nothing. There's something in that. You know what I'm saying? It's in that. And then now with everything going on, I'm triggered, and I'm just like, yo, I want to kill something right now. I want to, and I'm just like, nah, sis, you don't go out, don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere.
Yeah. And in part, that's maturity. You know what I mean? I feel like for you to be like, yeah, I came out like it was nothing. It's also because you've already dealt with triggers like this growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Outside, and people think oh, well, you're not really locked up in the house, but you are locked up in the house. You are sometimes in a sense of the matter in jail in the house. Dealing with whatever triggers you're going through, whatever issues that you're facing among family members. Like you talked about, abuse and things of that nature. That's a part of the cycle. You know what I mean? That is meant to kind of fuck us up and fuck us over and keep us down. And a lot of times we do it to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So accepting those triggers and knowing this is why I was this way. This is why I was that way makes us better, especially for now. You know what I mean? In time where they want us to fuck up and wild out and get crazy so they can kill us.
Yeah. Because like I said, when I say all my life I had to fight, that's really a fact though. And the majority of the people that I was getting into it were family members or men or boys at the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really recall me having a real fight with a girl. I can't really think of it. Any issues that I had with a girl, it was always I don't want to fight you. But whatever. I've always had to fight men, and I'm just like, that was another thing that made me have to take a step back I did and apologize to men because I never gave y'all a chance because I never felt like y'all gave me a chance. And it wasn't just specifically, it's just like I already know what type of time you on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like at some point or another, you're gonna give me tight. You're gonna say something disrespectful. You're gonna try to take advantage of me. This was just how I painted old men, to the point where the only people I were comfortable around were gay men, to be honest. Because I was just like, all right, you know, maybe they understand a little bit more of how I feel, until I was assaulted by a gay man.
Right. And you can't make this shit up. Like,
no. When I tell you, like, I had to tell somebody, like, yo, I feel like I've been through a lot. Like, people wouldn't even understand the amount of shit that I've been through. Like, when you talk about, like, jails and stuff like that, it's true. Like, when growing up, like, having to fight, like, some point in times I had to always have a knife under my pillow because I didn't know when shit was about to pop off. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it could be over the smallest things and last for however long. And it's like, you got to be ready to die sometimes. Like, it's going to be me and you.
Right.
I got to show you how crazy I could get. You get what I'm saying? I got to show you how crazy I could get so you don't play with me. And that's literally how it is in jail. You know what I'm saying? That's how people in prison. And a lot of people didn't understand me, and I feel like nobody saw me. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I felt like a part of me was like crying for help for so long, and nobody paid attention to me. I'm the only girl. I'm a middle child. Like, I felt like me and my brothers, we were just the only people without two parents, and my mother was never home. So like when the fighting, like defending ourselves, started with the babysitter. There was a babysitter. I had to be like 5, if not 4. 5 or 4, and my older brother was like 6 or whatever case may be. And this babysitter was just crazy. Like, she had this big belt. Like, who are you, first of all?
Where you coming from?
Big belt. She would hit niggas with anything. And at some point in time, like, my older brother ran away from home. So I'm like, yo, that really made my brother run away from home. Like, she's bugging. The cops came, brought my brother back, and she tried to get me and my other little brother to lie, like, oh, if they say anything, like, or if they ask anything, say that if anything, I hit them with this little belt or whatever. I was like, you got me,
right.
How about to lie? That's my brother. Are you dumb? I don't care what me and my brother look. That's my brother. Right. So that turned into a whole thing, and like, she used to feed us, like, it was like she was feeding us poison. Like, it was such torture. To the point where, like, we got her up there. Like, can you imagine, like, 3 little kids? Like, this one, they used to call us, like, Rugrats or Animaniacs or whatever. We got the babysitter out of there. Then my mother had another babysitter. This is when I was living in East New York. She got another babysitter. Like, we used to do the wildest things to get these people out of there, to the point where my mother just let us watch ourselves. So when I was, like, at some point, I was, like, 6, 7, and I was watching my brothers, I was like, nah, I got my brothers. I don't need nobody coming in here, because all y'all doing is beating us, like, poisoning us and doing all this extra shit. Like, nah, ain't nobody coming in here now. Now I got my brothers. Ain't nothing gonna happen to them because I'm here. Yeah. And that's still to this day, I act like that. Like, and I had to even apologize to my little brother because he had gotten into it with some girl, and I was like, yo, next time I see, I'm gonna kill him. Like, no, I love her. Nah, I'm killing this hoe.
But see, those all align with the triggers. Those all align with what you've been through. You know what I mean? And also happen to grow up. You know what I'm saying? Involuntarily, happen to grow up and be an adult when you're a child. That's not okay. You know what I mean? That's not a structure you should have to grow accustomed to. It's not all right. You know what I mean? But one thing I can say about you is that you made it. You know what I mean? You made it, even though you may still be going through some things. You're here to talk about this so you can help save somebody else's life. And isn't that the goal, right? Yeah. To pour into other people so that way their lives can be saved. So that way they don't have to go through what you had to go through. You know what I mean? Being that vessel and being that light. And I love that you say that, you know, you had to go through these things to talk about these things. You know what I mean? A lot of people can preach and do these things and not once have gone through anything they're talking about. You know what I mean? Right. And then don't understand why people don't want to hear you. Because your shit is fake, bro. Your shit is fake. Like, you haven't gone through this shit. You know what I mean? To be able to talk about it. So, who, in the midst of all of this, you know, in the midst of having to be strong, you know, you come such a long way. But at the end of the day, you know, us strong people always need people. You know what I mean? We, at the end of the day, need people. You know, we try to be the strong ones and we try to be the tough ones, but who motivates you? Who keeps you going? Who basically is there for your clown right now? Because that's what we need.
Yeah. I want to say there was a point in time where I didn't allow people to be next to me. Like, I didn't allow people to be there for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I went, like, I feel like I do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And until now, like, I'm like, nah, I literally do everything. Like, when it comes to silver lining, you want me posting for a friend, all of that. Like, there'll be times where I'm like, yo, can you help me with this? I'll ask you once, maybe twice. And then I'll be like, no, this is just there's something else that I have to do by myself. You know what I'm saying? But to the point where I really was not allowing people to be there for me. So I would say that here and there, I'll have people that, you know, are consistent for the moment, and I'll just accept that because maybe that was just their service. You know what I'm saying? That was just what they were in my life for. But the main person I would say that's like super there for me are like my two best closest friends, which is Aaron and my best friend Corinne, who y'all see all over the place. I love her. Like, that's my baby because me and her put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a point in time, like twice, where me and her did not even speak because I'm like, yo, I keep providing this space to the point where I feel like I'm giving you more credit than you're actually doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I have higher hopes for you, and I'm seeing your potential and what this friendship could be and what you can provide, you know, for even yourself. And now I'm noticing certain things that you're not even doing for yourself, and you're allowing for yourself that's negative, that I don't even want around me. So we have fallen out, and then we got back to it because we put in the work. And I feel like that's something that you need in any relationship, whether it's work related, whether it's intimate, whether it's friendly. You have to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? So if you see anybody next to me, it's because we probably went through some things. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that you have to go through something with somebody for them to prove themselves or whatever that is. That, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily that.
That's real subjective.
You know what I'm saying? You have to put in the work. So those are the two people that I would say like really kick me in my ass. And Corinne is a Virgo, like my mom is a Virgo, but my mom is not really like a mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's there learning from me right now, you know what I'm saying? Corinne is like super nurturing, and she has kids of her own, so like she just can't help herself sometimes. Like, she be like, no, you need this, you gotta do this. Like, literally, I was telling my cousin earlier, like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even have social media. She made my first MySpace. Like, she told me to get on Skonex. She made my Facebook, all of that. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? It just grew from there. A lot of me is her. And that's why that's my spiritual sister. Like, that's like my all. But it goes back to Tiana Taylor. Like, and I laugh and shit like that. But like, Tiana Taylor's dead inspiration for me because I see how much she's gone through and how much, you know, this industry tried to discourage her, or, oh, why is your mom your manager, or why this or why that, or you got a baby, now your career is done, you can't do nothing. It's a lot of things that girl went through, and she kept pushing and she stayed consistent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now she did Kanye's video. Everybody saw her, but before that, she was working, right? She was working. She was doing all of the things that she's doing right now, just on the low. Now people are paying attention. So I just feel like certain things like that, I like to like pay attention to. Other than that, like, I would say just me and my relationship with God. Like, my relationship with God is like, that's my homie. Like, I talk to him like, yo, we like, you think I should like, what's good? Like, what's up? Like, what's up? Like, what's up? Like,
it's the truth.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
I don't really think that I've ever had a mentor per se, or someone who was like a role model or any of that kind of stuff. I just feel like I've had moments that you could say that God showed himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in the 5th grade, I had a teacher, and she was a black teacher, and I remember I was in the front of the classroom eating donuts. And yo, I was like,
black as fuck.
When I tell you, she said, if you don't stop chewing, I was like, if I don't stop chewing, what? She grabbed my mouth. and took the donut out my mouth, bro.
Oh
like,
my
I was like, oh my God. I love her. I love her so much. I love her. And I started calling her mom after that by accident. Like, it was real. And then even in that classroom, like, I remember we had to do a project about colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose the color black. And she was like, why did you choose the color black? And I was like, well, let me tell you about a time Martin Luther King. Did I tell you about my blackness?
Oh my God.
When I tell you, she was like, oh my God, do it again. And she got a recorder, a videotape, and she recorded me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, she really sees me.
Yep.
Like, she really sees me. She really sees something in me.
Yep.
Like, and I thought that was so dope. And that was in 5th grade. I'll have like little moments like that that make me feel like, all right, who I am is not wrong. How I am is not wrong. You know what I'm saying? My purpose is here. I'm just like sorting through the bullshit to get to it. But there's nothing wrong with me. You know what I'm saying?
At all.
Because there was a long time where I felt like there was something wrong with me. It's crazy because, like, and this is something like super, super personal, right? Because we here, we chopping it up, whatever. So, like, you know how people like, oh, you come out like when you're in the LGBTQIA community, like, there's always this sense of coming out. And I never thought that was like, I'm like, why do you need to come out? Like, why is that a thing? Why don't people come out straight? I feel like I came out as straight. I'm not gonna hold you. Because I've had like situations I've had where I was taken advantage of. I've had situations with women, you know what I'm saying, as a young kid. And so that does something to you. And I know a lot of people, including Jason Lee, I'm reading his book, God Must Have Forgotten About Me. He said that he didn't know a sense of gay, straight, before he was getting assaulted by, you know, his babysitter's boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. And he started thinking about, you know, like, am I attracted to men and stuff like that? So with me having situations like that from such a young age, whatever, like literally 4 or 5 or whatever the case may be, and then again, you know, at different points in time, it was just like, am I lesbian? And I remember turning to my older brother and I was like, yo, I think I'm a lesbian. He was like, well, I knew it. I was like, that doesn't feel right. Now I don't think I'm a lesbian.
Right. But these are things that you have to deal with. You know what I mean? And I just love the fact that you can talk about it right now. You know, a lot of times we sit at home and we want to see something, but we're so afraid of what everybody else is going to think or say about our lives. But this is our shit. This is our journey. This is what God allowed us to go through so we can grow through it and be something or someone for somebody else. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's very true. Like, even recently, I had told one of my cousins, I was like, yo, you know, I went through all of this stuff and whatever the case may be. And I was like, and I told her, I was like, there was even a point in time that I thought I was a lesbian. She was like, oh my God, what? I was like, yeah, girl, I was being pussy. I was out here tearing it up. And she was just like, oh. And I was like, but nah, I'm straight though. I don't know what I'm saying. It's been because of what I noticed is, and this is why I say that I kind of agree with the whole, how come people don't come out as straight? Is because, like, alright. It's because, like, you know, why don't people think about it like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I wouldn't have an intimate, you know, situation like I couldn't be like, oh yeah, you know, waking up in the morning and going to sleep and with that type of person, and you know what I'm saying. So I was just like, yeah, no, that's not for me. That's not for me.
Yeah. And I also agree with you, even in the sense of the people who feel like they have to come out. So what? It's none of anybody else's business. You know what I mean? Whatever you decide, I know you want to embrace who you are, but you're a person at the end of the day. Once you come out into these places, a lot of times you allow people to put you in categories that you don't necessarily need to be, you know, to belong in. You are a person. You are an individual first. You know what I mean? What your sexual tendencies are yours. You know what I mean? They belong to you. And no one else should be involved in that situation but you or whoever that person is. But that's another conversation for another time. You know what I mean? But I dive into that in a lot of my in this season, in this series, and stuff like that, because it's, you know, we as people are so like, we are always willing to put people in a box, and that's just who we are as individuals. You know what I mean? And that's another conversation, though. But I want to ask, what would you be doing if you wasn't doing this? If you wasn't Silva, Silva, you listen to the color, what would you be doing?
I think I would be a chef.
You can throw down. You can throw down.
I think I would be a chef. I think I would go to culinary school, travel the world, taste all different types of food, spit it out, and really just be a chef. I really like food like that, and I like trying new things. I feel like I would try something at least one time, but not nothing crazy like roach or nothing like that. I'm not eating roach. I'm not eating turtle. I'm not eating. That is a different level. That's not food. Like, we are no longer in captivity. I feel like there's certain things that you just don't have to eat.
Right.
It's not meant for you to eat. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Other than that, yeah, I think I would be a chef, or I would be like a fashion designer or something like that. Because I love fashion, but I love like couture fashion.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. We're definitely happy to have somebody like you in this space and in this time, because it's so needed, it's so necessary. And where would we be without Silva, right? Where would we be without a Silva? What message, for all of y'all who've been watching and tuning in from the whole time, what message would you want to leave with them?
Be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself, and like, pay yourself first. However that looks like for you, whether it's, you know, taking time out to self-care and you know, go to the spa, or literally putting money to the side before you go on that shopping spree, or before you know what I'm saying? Like, pay yourself first.
I love that. I love that. Well, I have to say, because I didn't say it in the beginning, normally I do all my gushy stuff in the beginning, but I want to say thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you've always been in support. For those of you who didn't watch, she was my first guest co-host for season 2. She stopped by when we did our big summit for Courtney's Corner. So I definitely thank you for supporting this brand, supporting what we have to offer, and this kind of making this a family thing. You know, a lot of times we get so caught up in the competition of it all that we just don't appreciate each other for where we are in our lives. So I definitely appreciate you for just being who you are unapologetically. You know what I mean? I love it. I definitely love it. And you know, you got a friend in me. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So guys, I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank y'all for watching. This is Miss Silva, everybody. Let them know where they can find you so they can keep following all your greatness.
Well, you can follow me. It should be at the top, at King Silva. That's my my hosting brand, my official page, King Silva. Follow my business page at A Silver Lining, spelled Silva, at the Silver Lining Productions. I'm dropping a flyer right after this for my next panel for this month, which is about men. And it kind of like plays into the conversation too. Funny enough, I had it planned for a little while, so it'll be an all-male panel where I'm having conversations with men on how we can be better for them, how we can provide more space for them to be themselves and to grow, you know what I'm saying? Like, bridging that gap, especially between men and women. So, yes, follow me at King Silva and at Silver Lining Productions on Facebook and Instagram. Don't come on Twitter because that's where I'm emotional.
Yo, it's definitely been a pleasure, yo. I mean, I haven't had this much fun in a minute, so I definitely appreciate you for making me laugh.
You welcome, friend. You welcome.
Y'all, we are back next week with an all-new episode of One-on-One with Courtney Starks. Keep tuned, keep locked, stay tuned, and we'll disappoint. Next week is Trav B. Ryan talking about all his music, having his first baby, and much, much more. I love you. I thank you for watching. Good night.